Alright, welcome back YouTube. So we got twist deck for every single class. This is, of course, day one of the beta for twist, so I figured I'd just go over some lists that I played against, because I played about 4 hours worth of twist, and I have yet to get out of bronze, because all I play against is Mozaki Mage and Questline Druid. But I'm sure once, more decks come to light, those decks will kind of fall out. They'll probably ban a couple cards too to make it a little bit more balanced. But here's some lists. I'll be sure to link all of the deck codes down in the description, everything like that. I'm just gonna go over each of them real quickly. See which one you like. Maybe you have all the cards, you don't have to craft anything, because it becoming a new game mode means it is pay to win now, because there are older sets that some people haven't played. Like if I show you right here, I am missing some cards because I have not played and have not bought every single expansion, including the wild stuff as well. So I am missing a good portion of stuff. But some general lists, one deck for each class that people have potential to play. So I'll go over them real quick. This is Quest Warrior. It's basically built the same way as every other Quest Warrior was back then. The only thing that's new is the Abyssal Basis, which is pretty big. Really good card for the list. Granted that you only do have the one here, but you do have, when you do complete the quest, you are going to be re-equipping weapons with shoot, what is she called? Does it show you here? With Captain Rokara here, because it sums up the Juggernaut. The Juggernaut will sum up a pirate, and then give you a weapon, and then it'll do 2 damage twice, I believe. So this deck is probably safe to play. I have not tried it out myself, but this is also kind of a late game card here, the Fire of Zenajari here. Place your deck with 5 cost more, and they cost 5. Or minions that cost 5 or more, they cost 5. That whole thing, if your pirates don't really work out. But it's a pretty fun deck. I think it's worth trying out in Twist. The next one is pretty popular list. This is one that Regis Kilbin made. This is the Fatigue Warlock. Let me do something real quick here. Let me make sure we add this there. Yeah, we got the new hero for it. But so yeah, this is the Fatigue, Warlock. It was basically the same list. They just added in some of the new Fatigue package stuff to it. Pelching Harp's a good thing, the Backfire. And it's basically you just play it out. You do the whole thing where you try and fatigue through your deck, and you just play all this stuff. You could, play Ticketus, removes, top 5 cards from your opponent's deck. You just have, and then you have Phantom or Phantom, how you pronounce it, Lord of the Opera, Gigafin. It's just, control. It's basically just control Warlock, but with some, added stuff to it. Whether or not this is going to be a really good deck, don't know. It's just something to try out. There are a lot of legendaries in this deck, so I wouldn't recommend crafting it if you're missing a lot of these legendaries. Like I am only missing 3. If I was to craft anything for this deck, I'd probably just go for Ticketus. Maybe the Fireblade, but Rustwick I wouldn't craft. It would just be Ticketus here. Next is the Overload Shaman. I'm only missing Instructor Fireheart, but here I forgot to name this one. But you play Command of the Elements, play the Overload cards here. To get this for the rest of the game, your spells cast twice. And you have your Enza, which is a new card as well, the Altar Chord, and you have your other really good stuff here. You just recast everything. You have your Charge Call, sums it up a minion equal to the amount of Overload cards you've casted this game. You have your Note Taker to get multiple stuff. It's a pretty good deck. I played against it a couple times. It's beaten me a couple times too. Not a bad deck to try. The next one up is Secret Rogue. I am missing some cards here, but some other key cards is Janus Barov here. Summon 2 random 5 cost minions. Secretly pick one that dies when it takes 1 damage. It's a good card. Whether or not it's going to be defining for Twist, it's not. It is what it is. Another really key card is Secret Passage. Rogue doesn't have this in Standard, but Rogue getting this in Twist is really good. Secret Passage is by far one of the best cards that Rogue has ever gotten. Be able to replace your hand with 4 cards in your deck, and it swaps back each turn. You're able to cycle through your deck pretty fast and get stuff that you need. I think this would be a pretty solid deck to try as well. The next one is Questline Priest. Now again, there are some new cards. I am not, I don't have every single card. for Twist, but Soul Mirrors are very good cards. Summon copies of them, and then they attack their copies. This is really good for Death Rattle cards, set that has like good benefits from them being on your side of the board. I think Soul Mirrors is a safe craft in general, especially for Priest if you are wanting to become a Twist player and play only Twist. But this is basically, you know, just you curve out. It's you know, it's Seek Guidance. That's the quest here. Where is it at? Here it is. When you get the Purified Shard, the shard automatically destroys the enemy hero, and so you just curve out and with hopes to get to that. And that's really the whole game plan for this deck here. Another one, Blood Death Knight. Pretty safe thing to play. Everyone will basically have all the cards for it already, unless you don't have the Mograine, Hollow Hound, and I think there's... Oh, I'm not sure if there's any other cards here. Soul Stealers might be a card that's crafted. I don't remember. Yeah, Soul Stealer. It's a easy deck. Like, you don't really have to craft a lot of this stuff here. Yeah, Mograine is pretty important here. But if you know, you can play Control, Blood Knight, it's fine. Another thing to note for Twist, which I kind of forgot to mention, is that there are no neutral cards, so you are just playing straight cards from the set, or from each of the different classes. But next on, which I'm actually pretty excited for, is this pure Libram deck. Something to be aware of is that Lady Libram is not in the deck too, but it's not something like, it's something like worth considering to add to the deck. The Countess, I think, is just kind of better, but there are times when it, you know, adding them all back to your hand is pretty important. But another card is, which is really cool, is McGurgle, however you pronounce it, you know. McGurgle Prime is a really solid card. It sums up the where is it at? This guy right here. Sums up 4 random Murloc Seal and Divine Shield. It's really solid legendary for the deck. I definitely think this specific card is worth crafting just in general for Paladin. This is going to play just how any pure Paladin list plays, and it's going to feel pretty good playing this. Also, Cariel and all the heroes are back, so you know you're going to be able to, you know, survive quite a bit of damage. Cariel, you also have Libram Hope, which I don't have, but you know, restore 8 health, get an 8 taunt and Divine Shield. It's pretty impactful. I think when the meta kind of settles out, this will be one of the top tier decks. Maybe. Next one is Questline Hunter. This is not like the best Questline Hunter deck here, but this was a kind of a fun list I'd figure I'd just show off. You play the Scavenger's Inquinity, however you pronounce it, Inquirity, I don't know how to pronounce it, with the Wolpertinger here. So you'll get a 4/4 that sums up a copy of this. It's kind of fun, and then you just play it out like any other normal Questline deck is. You know, you do 1 for each beast you have, and you just play it out and you just spam it down. This is by far not the best Questline version. I just saw this list and I was like, oh, this is kind of fun. I'll add this to the thing. There are probably better ones to do where you know you actually play all your other you could play the Arcane package with it, and you know you play your Shell Shot, Eversong Portal, the Stag Charge here, your Mark Shot, your Piercing Shots. You know, you play all those stuff that, you know, actually deal damage. You do all that stuff with it, right? Now the one that's been really irritating to play against, Quest Druid. Lost in the Park is back, and we have all of this, you know, hero power support here, and you'll be able to, you know, do some pretty wacky stuff with this. You can also play Unending Swarm in this list as well. There's many things that you could add, change up the list. Something I wouldn't recommend playing the list, funny enough, is Wildheart Guff, because it can reset your hero power, so be aware of that. I don't think there's really anything else I want to note with this deck. Shoot, there might be something I'm missing, actually. Yeah, I'm just missing a lot of legendaries. No? Okay. Yeah, but Innervate's something to kind of, you know, think about. Living Bloom, something to think about. I don't think there's anything else in the list. Planted Evidence, I didn't add Planted Evidence to the list, but, you know, that would probably be a solid card to add. Mark of the Spike Shell is also really good, especially with Guff, Guff when you get at the end of it. Oh, where's it at? Right here. You'll be able to, since it's time, you'll add another copy of it, and you'll be able to play it again a second time. You know, there's just different ways to play the list. I think it's really good to make sure you have the Oracle of Elune with the Umbral, Owl, and the Crypt Keeper, so you could go very wide. They added neutral stuff. I would say add in the Arcane Giants to this as well, and you just play, you know, Wild Quest Druid, but this list should do fine as is as well. Another one, this is also a very, very big list that you should probably craft if you, well, I'm not going to say craft it because it's only day one. If you have all the cards, play the deck. This is a really, really good deck. Quest, Quest Demon Hunter is very, very, very irritating to play against, especially with Glide, but it's very impactful because against those Mage Mozaki games, being able to shuffle their cards back in their hand and then only them drawing 4, very impactful for them. And sometimes with the Philosophy and the Brutes and the Wallopers, being able to drop down a bunch of those, just enough to win the game. Like Glaivatar could be really impactful too. It's a very, very solid deck to play. This has been, you know, the big meta grinder for me. I've been playing it. I haven't posted any videos for it yet, but those games I will be posting will only have, I'll be in like early bronze with those games. This one got me pretty far. Now, the worst deck of all, the Mozaki Mage. This list has been like when I first played the first hour, I played 13 Mozaki Mages in a row, and I almost rage quitted because this was very irritating to play against. And of course, I was playing decks that, you know, were, you know, not considered to be meta. I was just having fun. I was playing, you know, hero power mage with, you know, more Dresh, Fire Eye, Magister Dawn Grasp with the where's that? Wildfire. And playing those and playing what was it? Aggro, Imp Warlock. I was just playing some other fun decks that weren't really, you know, probably the best thing to be playing day one, but this is probably the best list for it. There's some, you know, different quirks. Not playing the lab partner, playing double reverberations. I really think you only need one because you really burn through your deck pretty fast. Play Mozaki, you play your reverberations, and you just play all your really cheap stuff because you played Incanter's Flow. Incanter's Flow is one of the things you want to keep in your hand. Reducing everything to really cheap. You get this. You can deal like over 20 damage with one spell. It's ridiculous. But yeah, this is the overall, the different decks that I've seen so far, day one. You know, other decks will come out. There are still quite a bit of stuff. Like, I think Death Knight probably won't see any play. But there's also something else I kind of want to, like, notable mentions for some decks down the line. I don't have all the cards, as you can see here. But, Soul, Demon Hunter, Big Demon Hunter, whatever you want to call it, will be pretty impactful, I'd imagine, because we're getting, you know, Abyssal Basis. We're getting all of our big demons back into the metagame here. Pick Commander, we got our Brutal Nylon. You know, we have all those crazy, you know, big demons, so kind of worth noting those as well. For Druid, there wasn't really anything else, but there was an interesting deck I came across. Where is it at? Speaker Gydra with what's it called? The 7-mana spell. Drum Circle, being able to like OTK your opponent, dealing like, you know, 20 damage or something like that with that. That was a deck. I don't think it's going to be too impactful, but it's a fun deck to try. The big Beast Hunter will be a thing as well. Oh, where is it at? Yeah, because Mountain Bear is a thing again. You could also play the Beastmaster Leo Rocks to, you know, summon them out of your hand. You also get Guardian Animal too, so you could also play like a more of a mid-range hunter if you wanted to. You could pull, you know, these out of your deck because it's 5 or it's 5 or less. Okay. Well, then you can play your, you know, Rat King. You can play your Trampling Rhino because this is a Cardigan Hunter. Also, the Shade Hound's not bad. Teacher's Pet's not bad either. But, you know, there's just, you can play a mid-range version. You can play the bigger version where you have a higher, you know, top off of Big Beast and everything like that. It's not a bad deck to consider. Like I was saying when I was doing the Mozaki Mage, the Hero Power Hunter, or not Hunter, Mage, I think is going to be very good, especially because Magister Dawngrass is back now. Could really, you know, abuse the Hero Power. I've also seen a Helena Mage come around. I don't know if that's really going to be all that big, but, you know, could still games with that. More Dress is very fun. You could also do some shenanigans with DJ Manastorm now. Like I said with Paladin, I think you could do a secret Paladin stuff here. Yeah, transform your secrets to 3/3 soldiers, because now we have all the secret stuff back. Or a good portion of them, I believe, right? Maybe we don't. I guess we don't have very many secrets, but oh no, we do. We have a good portion. We have 2, 4, 6, 2, 4, 6. Maybe not play that. But you could play, you know, the Rights of the Occasion. You could play like a quest Paladin, which I don't know if it'll be actually very good or not. But you know, there's some other stuff you could play with that. Priest, you could play Shadow Priest, I think. Might be wrong. Let me double check here. You could play Shadow Priest. Probably be pretty irritating to play. You could play, you know, some like, you know, Dragon Priest. You could play just a lot of other stuff. You could play like Big Priest too, I think. Oh, where's it at? Did they add it to it? Looks like they didn't. Card I'm thinking of that sums up like a random, or sums up a copy of a minion from a deck, but it's like a 5/5 or something like that. Looks like they didn't add that to it. Rogue, you could play Concoction Rogue, you could play Secret Rogue. You could also play like the Weapons Rogue as well. I'm really happy they didn't add Kingsbane to the deck, or to the pool. They did, that'd be pretty irritating. Also play, you know, Quest Rogue as well. It's not a bad list to consider either. I don't think Shutterwalk is in this. It is not. But you could play the big, yeah, you can. You can play the big Shaman as well. You also probably do some pretty crazy Inara Storm Crash plays because Doomhammer and this are in as well. I believe, no, is it a 1-mana card? I was gonna say, I think they added in the weapon that, or the spell that buffs up your weapon, but I think I'm wrong. Okay, yeah, no, I guess I was just dreaming. But that's always something to consider. You could play any of, like, you know, the aggro and Warlocks. You could also play the Soul Fragment. Warlock is a little bit better than the Demon Hunter version of it. You could play that. Notable thing for Warrior, I already mentioned the Quest one. There's always different versions of the Quest one running around, but you could also play like Control Warrior. You could also play Fire, or in Rage Warrior 2, you do have Extractor in the list as well. You have all your fire supports as well, so you can play just very many different types of warrior decks. You also do have Bulwark again, so you could definitely play some heavy control Warlock decks, which I'm assuming will probably come to light, especially with the Rockmaster Voon. You also have Kargath again, so I really like Kargath, especially with his prime form. It's pretty big. Black Rock and Roll being a thing now, I think Warrior is gonna see a tad bit more play after some balance patches happen with it. But you have all your really, you know, your big stuff. You have your Remora still, you have your Trent Stalker, you have your Shield Shatter now. You could play a good Control Warrior deck now. But this is my video. Hopefully you guys could have some you know, play some good games with Twist, the new game mode. Try out some of these decks, you know, whatever works for you. Maybe leave a comment or some other decks that you found that was working. Maybe you have a more updated version. I know some of these lists aren't probably the best versions of them, but if you, you know, want to drop any of those down in the comments, I'm appreciate anything you guys want to add. Also your opinions to it. I think that a lot of people weren't very happy about this game mode. I do like that there are some, you know, interesting things to it, but it's clear that there are some decks that are way better than others. But aside from all that, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.